You are welcome back to Life Skills Computer Training and Consulting Limited. This is the continuation of our course titled Web Design with HTML, CSS, PHP, and MySQL. If you are following this course, we've taken some topics in HTML, and after this topic, we'll move on to Cascading Style Sheet, which is CSS. But before we move on, we want to learn advanced HTML tags. Advanced HTML tags. In the previous videos or topics, we learned some basic HTML. But in this video, I will explain to you some HTML tags that are very, very important if you want to be a good web developer. But before we continue, if you are interested in more of our courses, I would like you to visit www.liveskilltech.xyz or www.igwaleonline.com. You can also send an email to this email address liveskilltech@gmail.com, or you call 0706-867-5164 for more details. Now, these are the courses available on our site. We have AutoCAD 2D and 3D, we have machine design, we have e-learning course, design and development. That course is very, very good for people that are teachers, lecturers and educators. And in this digital age, you have to transit from analog system to digital way of teaching and learning. So if you want to package your course using e-learning techniques, I will recommend this course. You may upgrade from there. You want to have a portal where you deploy your courses and you set up a virtual school online. So this course on developing e-learning portal is a skill to get, and you don't need any programming experience. Also, if you want to assess your students using computer in this age of computer-based testing platforms, and where we use all these platforms, I would recommend this course, Develop a CBT Platform. You don't need programming experience. We are going to take you thoroughly how to start a CBT platform from scratch. Then we have Microsoft Office training on PowerPoint and Excel, both basic and advanced training on that. Again, if you want to be developing your own website, we have Easy Web Design with Joomla. Then we have web design with HTML, CSS, PHP, and MySQL, which is the course you are taking right now. Then, if you want to develop e-commerce site like Konga, eBay, Amazon, I would recommend develop an e-commerce site training. Then, if you are interested in Microsoft technology, we have a course on web design using ASP.NET, which is a server-side programming language from Microsoft. And we have all these programming languages from Microsoft to VB and C#. So these are the courses we have on our site, and I recommend any of these. They are good courses that will give you hands-on and practical experience. Now let's continue with our training on advanced HTML tags. The first tag I would like us to look into is HTML form. Now, interactivity is increasingly becoming an important part of many websites. On your site, people may have to upload pictures, they may have to register, they may have to log in, they may have to download something, and there's no way you will not use form. So people have to, maybe you create a registration form where they have to supply your data, they click submit button, and next time they are visiting your site, they will log in. That login interface is a form. So, and the first thing, when you are writing HTML form, you define the form tag. So it's just a simple form tag, and close the form tag like this. Then, there are some attributes that form use. So remember in our last topic, we discussed HTML tags and attributes. So you know what attribute means by now. So a form tag is useless without putting this attribute. The first one is action attributes. in action attribute, you put action attribute to tell where the form is going to. So every data supplied by the site visitor or your users, that data will be taken to the address specified in this action. For example, look at this address, http www.livesecurtech.com/index.php. So when the user submits that form will be, the person will be taken to this page. So actually the form data will be stored in the database. But immediately they submit that form, you may want to present them with a welcome message or a message that shows the form has been submitted. In most sites, when they submit the form, it say, congratulations, you are successfully registered, or your details are successfully saved. And the page that will display that is what you write under action. Then we have method attribute. When you're writing form in HTML, you either use method called post or you use a method called get. Now, there is a difference between two of them. When you use post, the form data will be posted directly into your database. And when you use a post, the browser will not display the form data. But when we use get, immediately you submit the form, you will see the data appended to the address on your browser. So any of them will work, but if you don't want your data to be visible in the browser address, I would recommend you use a post. But there are some data that are not too sensitive that you want to quickly capture from your form. So in times like that, we use get. So that is the difference between them. Look at this, for example, http://www.livesecurtech.com script page.php. So you can see that immediately the person click submit. You see the data appended, like the name, David, agree, yes. So data like password, you have to be careful, and some sensitive information, you don't use get method. So I would recommend post method, and most time I use post method to capture my form data. Then there is another attribute called name. You will need to use name attribute, but it's not compulsory. Where will you need it? You will need it when you are writing JavaScript to validate form data. As you know that JavaScript is majorly for form validation. So that is the function of name attribute. Now let's quickly look at input element before we go into the practical session. There are some elements that go with your form tag. As you know that when you're writing form tag, in between the opening tag and the closing tag, you put all the form elements. For example, text input. You want to capture a data where the users have to type something in a text box. So this is how you write the code. Input, type, is a text, name, username. So this name property is very important, especially when you want to use the data supplied by your site visitor. Now, there are other input type like a type equals to password. If you use password here, then your site visitor, the password will not be displayed as the person is typing the password. Now, I want us to get practical. Let's go to our site. If you remember, this is the site we'll be working on. And if I go to my folder on the desktop and I launch this, I remember we created two pages, index and contact. If I launch this index, so this is how our site look from the last topic. Okay, now I would like us to do something on this page. Let's put this after this picture, let me see. Okay, after this picture, let's put a paragraph. To register on this site, click, or you say click here to register on this site. So you close that paragraph. Now this click, let's turn it to a link by using anchor tag. Don't forget, we just use a tag, that is anchor tag. Then we have the anchor tag is useless without specifying an attribute called href. Href equals to, now when the person click here, where will it send them to? Let's create a page called register.html. Don't forget the quotation mark for the value of your attribute. So if I save this and I go to my browser and refresh, so you can see click here to register on this. If I click, there is nothing like register.html in your browser. It's looking for that address. So what I will do is I will go to contact. No, I'm not launching that. I'll go to my folder. Let's copy this contact and paste. So I have a copy, then I will rename it. I did that in the last topic. I will rename it as register. So make sure you use the same name here, register. So .html. Alright. So if I go back here to my index page, look at the index here, and I click on register. So I will have this. I may have to edit this page. Let's open with Notepad. Right click and open with Notepad. Then I'll just change this one to registration page. Registration page. Change that to registration page. Let's remove all this. Let's remove all this and start form tag. Then closing form. Alright. So inside this form tag, go back to our presentation. Like I said, we want to specify the action and the method and the name. Okay. So if I go back to the register notepad, I will apply this attribute action equals to there must be a page where you direct them to. I can call that page, I can call complete register.html. So it's likely going to be a PHP page where you write PHP code. So this one will not be .html, it will be .php. But since we have not started PHP, so let's make it just a simple HTML page. Method equals to post. So I'm going to use post method. So I'm applying those attributes, the name of the form. Maybe I will validate the form data. So let's call it registration. That's the name. Let's call it register to make it shorter. Register, that's the name of the form. So that is our form tag. Now, when people begin to, if I save this and I go to my browser and I refresh, so you see I have registration page. On this page there is nothing except registration page using H1 and the line is centered there. Okay, and your form is not displayed because you have not given it form element.